Hey guys, what's going on? Alan here, Gibson Garage YouTube channel, and today we're working on a 2011 Buick Enclave 3.6 liter. We've worked on this before. We did an oil change on it. It was like 5 months ago. If you want to see that video, I can post a link down in the description. But today we're going to do spark plugs and an oil change again, but I'm not going to go through that again with you guys. We're going to do 6 spark plugs, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 in the front. We're going to cover also not only the engine air filter, but the cabin air filter. And there was a thing with AutoZone, I haven't looked at it yet. It says it's behind the glove box, but on their computer it said that you might have to cut into the box where the cabin air filter is, and then you'll have to buy a replacement lid, which they didn't have available. So we'll look into that. Hopefully that's not the case, but we'll see. For now, we're going to start with removing this engine cover, and it's as simple as pulling it off. It looks like you got to remove this oil cap. Okay, fun times. So it looks like we're going to have to unbolt the harness, all this stuff laying over the top basically, and that's already busted off. That'll probably break too. So we've got to get all this harness, which means unplugging everything. Oxygen sensor. What is going on down there? It's like wrapped around the hose. This is the stupidest routing I've ever seen. They laid it straight across the engine, right over the heat exhaust manifold, just stretched across to the center of the radiator. Wow, is this even gonna, because that goes way over there. Hopefully this will roll this way enough. It should. Okay, fun times. Okay guys, so I did try to take out one of these just to make, verify. And there are long boots in there. I mean, that's not gonna come out. So what I'm gonna do, there's not gonna be a lot of action shots in this one. I'm gonna buzz through pretty quick because there's a lot of little things to remove. So I'm gonna set you up on the time lapse. All right, we need to go unplug the battery so we can unplug this wire and get it out of the way. This one here, just want to roll it over or roll it back. But the battery is located behind the passenger seat. Just scoot this seat all the way back, and this cover pops off just with your hands all the way around. There's a lot of them, so just go all the way around. And then T20 here. That lifts right up. And then voila, a battery. What the hell? With a magnet stuck to it. Interesting. So negative cable first. Yeah, so it looks like 8s. And then down there is probably a 1/2 inch or 13. But we don't need to take it out actually. We're just gonna unhook it. And scoop a nipple through that hole there, which is why the studs for the cover had to come off. Dress up cover, whatever you want to call it. Alright, that actually wasn't that bad. Now we got clear access to everything. Yeah, there's no way that was going to come out or get a spark plug out of there. So that had to be done. And it wasn't terrible. There's a hidden bolt there, this third bolt on the front underneath this piece. But there are 6 bolts holding in that manifold. So now we're going to get the 10 back on there. I think those are 10s. And get those 6 coils out of there. And get that's straightforward. You know, you guys, once you get this far, you can get the plugs out, right? So now's the time you want to check for oil. This one's got some oil in it, but these other ones look really good. We're not going to get into the valve covers though. That'll, I don't know, maybe never, but it's not something I'm going to worry about today. A little bit. Alright, got her nice and cleaned out. Bunch of nasty rags to prove it. Let's get these spark plugs out. So just a 5/8 on a 6" extension should do it. Oh. Ooh, yeah. Those are due. Alright, we got the NGKs going in. I did try to find ACDelcos, but weren't available, so went with the NGKs, and they do have the gold iridite coating on the threads, so you don't need thread sealant or thread or anti-seize, is what I'm trying to say. Don't need any of that. And you can just slide them on in there without doing any damage. Boom. Start them in with a regular 5/8 this time. That way you can get your socket back after you tighten it. And these are long-winded, so you're gonna be here a minute. And these are a tapered thread, so you're not gonna feel a lot of squish once you get them there. That's good there. Alright, just buttoning up the last 3 coils. I've got those 3 on. And I was going to get a new intake manifold gasket, but not available. So there's still a lot of rubber lip left on this new one, or on this old one, so I'll show you that in a second here. So here's the gasket. It's a really interesting looking one. It's got these, I don't know if you want to call them valves or what, but definitely interesting. And like I said, there's a lot of rubber lip left. I don't want to peel it away. It feels like it's stuck to it pretty well. So won't worry about that. I'll just wipe the oil off of this. I already wiped the surfaces here nice and clean. So let's get that back on now. Alright, so we just gotta take our time here. I'm gonna have to push this little bit of padding out of the way here as we go in. Don't want to nick up any of that gasket. Did I land right on it? It's hard to tell. Yeah, I can't look under. I can't really tell. Ooh. Oh, there we go. Ooh, that's the ticket. Sorry, I have my big fat head in the way, but that feels good. Even kind of locks in place there. Bolts. So all of them were the same except the short one over here. I'm gonna peel back this cover here. Slide her in. Now I will Google it up, try to find the right torque specs. These weren't very tight, to be honest with you. Didn't feel very tight at all. No room for error. Oh, they've got these plastic, I think these are like centering sleeves probably. Keeps the bolt centered. Found it. Looks like it's gonna be 18 foot-pounds or 25 Newton meters. Starting with the center bolts, then crisscrossing. And then do it again, because if you've ever done it before, when you start tightening stuff down and then you go back to the bolt that you first tightened, and it's loose again, so that's probably why you just go over it again and make sure it's all 25. Now I'm ready to slide this cover on. You got to start in the back and scoop a nipple through that hole there, which is why the studs for the cover had to come off. That dress up cover, whatever you want to call it. There we go, down in there. Bingo. Now put the studs back on. Cut this, and we can let that come all the way over here. Just set that right there for now. And this little bit of plastic here sits on these nipples, and then there's clips on the bottom. You just gotta push the clips up down into the engine, towards the engine, like that and like that, and that bit of harness is back in place. Shove this guy back in its hole, and then we can tighten this down. Yep, that's next. That went underneath. My clip is broke, so we'll just have to imagine that snapped into place. And there's this one that's not broken. That goes in that hole. And that's it for the harness. Everything, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Next is this. This is the vacuum tube that comes from the booster. And these clips are really easy. There's a couple of these. You just pull this forward, or back I mean, until you can't, and then it just wiggles right off of its whatever it's on. I was wrong. This is not the one that goes to the booster. This goes to the back of the other head there. But the clip, like I said, is still the same. And obviously it's going to reach this hole, so the other end shouldn't be far away. Boom. See if we can hear the snap. Wiggle this guy in. Boom. Now we've got this assembly. This even says booster right there. That's just gonna push on. We'll do that first. That way it gets everything lined up. Which means that's gonna go right there on that stud. Which means top of the engine right there. And this thing, whatever that is, a little wiggle. Boom. Don't forget this connector here. Oh wow. Oh wow, there's oil actively dripping out of this thing. It's catching a ton of oil. I think it's coming out of this box right here. That's crazy. There's a heck of oil in there. Yuck, I'm gonna have to clean that. There's another hose around here that I tucked away. There it is. And then that's gonna go on the intake tube. First I gotta clean this, that's gross. So that's going to be it for this video. How to change spark plugs on the Buick 3.6 liter. Got to take off the intake manifold. But not that big of a deal, really. I thought, you know, the harness and stuff was going to be way harder to get out of the way, but it wasn't. So, like I said, that's going to do it. I'm going to do the cabin air filter, but that's going to be another video. So please like, please subscribe, please hit the bell so you can see those other videos come out. And you have a good day. Oh.